So yeah, welcome along to the June session of Therapeutic Tools of the Trade. Today's session is on using DBT skills in emotion regulation. This is a massive topic within a massive topic, and we've got 90 minutes. So please don't see this as a complete overview to all things emotional regulation or all things DBT. This is really going to focus on some crisis skills that people can use at times when they're feeling particularly overwhelmed, but also introducing a few skills to increase that emotional resiliency, that to give them that emotional armor before they go into stressful situations. I look at some of the other metaphors that we can use to discuss that. So my swimming metaphor is about the concept of when these skills can come in, when they can be useful. These metaphors are more about what happens if we don't learn these skills, if we don't embrace emotional regulation and find a way to live with and sit with our emotions. So there's hundreds of these, but these are some of my favorites, and I'll use these depending on the client, depending on their sort of, age and presentation, that kind of thing. One of the most traditional is the idea of the dam, and that if we build a dam in the river of our emotions, that one, we are altering the natural flow of those emotions. And I like this one because it gives you that idea that emotions are supposed to be flowing. Emotions are not forever. Emotions are constantly moving and changing. It has the word motion in it. They should be naturally flowing, and if you try and dam them up, then and I like this metaphor because you can go so far with it. But if you dam it up downstream, everything dies. You might end up spending all of your time and energy maintaining and rebuilding that dam instead of focusing on all of the beautiful scenery around you. Eventually there might be a break in the dam, and then all hell's going to break loose. So really, really nice, simple metaphor there. And you really can kind of go anywhere with that one. The other one that I like is, I think one of mine, I don't think I've heard this one anywhere else. The dam one, lots of people use the dam one. But the beach ball is the idea that if you, and again, you can tell, yeah, I was a swim teacher. A lot of my metaphors come back to swimming and water. If you've ever tried to push a beach ball down under the water, one, it's really difficult because it doesn't want to be under that water. And two, it gives you this idea of the struggle it takes to actually suppress those emotions, that there's a lot of action that has to go on to keep that under the water. And I often talk about with clients that it doesn't take much to, knock you off your feet, one wave and the ball comes shooting up and whacks you in the face, kind of thing. But I like that idea of explaining to clients how much work it takes to keep that suppressed, to keep that under the water, and how sort of explosive it can be when you take your eye off the ball for a second, so to speak. The other one is the glass, and I like this one because you've got the sort of the double. This one's not mine. Again, this is, lots of people use this one, but that holding the glass full of your emotions, and it doesn't matter how full or empty the glass is, but holding anything up for a long period of time is eventually going to get tiring. You know, holding it up and away, putting it behind you, but that idea of being out, you know, trying to somehow keep the emotions as separate, and that glass was just gradually getting fuller and fuller and fuller and fuller until it spills over and there's just literally no more room in there. And that can be a really nice, in our Burwood Highway rooms, we had a sink in each room, so this makes a really nice visual demonstration as well. And you can talk about, you know, just the steady drip, 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 drip versus the event that causes a deluge and an immediate overflow. Also good then to talk about, you know, the cleanup effort and that that idea of excuse me, and that idea of when the tap is still flooding, that's probably not the time to start the cleanup. We've got to kind of deal with the flooding tap first. So what I love about all of these metaphors though is you can kind of take them anywhere that you want. The volcano is certainly not mine. Lots of people use that one, but the volcano analogy became one of my favorites and go-tos when working with kids and with some adults. But I love that idea that that magma is always there, bubbling below the surface, and those external events can create change, can create build-up. And if we don't put in ways to relieve that pressure, you know, if there aren't cracks that allow some of the magma to overflow, all of that kind of stuff, eventually that emotion is going to explode out all over the place, and you know, everybody gets covered with lava and nobody has a good day. So, and you can see how some of these would lend themselves better to other emotions. So volcano is a great one for anger, the cup is a great one for sadness, so on and so forth. But one of my favorite therapeutic moments ever was with a 6-year-old, and I brought out the volcano drawing. I've got some blank ones so that they can colour in their own and that kind of thing. And put the picture in front of him, and I get my volcano picture and sit down and get ready to start colour. And he just gives me this look that like only a 6-year-old can, of just like, this is about my anger, isn't it? And I was like, wow, I got had by a 6-year-old. Awesome. So apparently his school counsellor or something had introduced the volcano for some of his behavioural issues that had been coming out at school, and oh, the look on the face. So yes, one of my favourite moments ever, and did have a happy ending though. That kid and I actually worked really, really well together for like 2 years after that. But another really good idea and example of why it's useful to have a few extra metaphors up your sleeve just in case, because you never know when you're going to cop attitude from a 6-year-old. So some of my favorite metaphors for talking about this with clients, and I hope you know some of them, but maybe a couple of them are new to you, and yeah, use them and enjoy.